Hey guys, it's Dead Ponic. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I just wanted to uh, basically pass on the news that Mr. Gene Hackman and his wife and his dog were found dead in their home, and it is confirmed. It it was it was such a shock to my system, and I didn't know what to say, and I was just so upset over it, and I needed a few minutes to compose myself, but I didn't want to talk about how the death his death has affected me and many other people, but I wanted to celebrate his life and just talk about his movie portfolio, if you will, or like all the films he did. Now, most people probably know him as the original Lex Luthor in the original Superman movie, and that was the moment that I realized that Gene Hackman was he was a very good actor. Because despite the fact that he was playing kind of a corny villain in a way, he came into the role like he owned that role, and he had such a presence. Most directors were very honored to work with him, and they directed him in such a way that they could take advantage of all of his talents. And with the first Superman movie, it must have been a real treat to work alongside Christopher Reeve. And the fact that essentially he owned that role for so many years in so many movies that no live action version of Lex Luthor can compare to him. And then, King Kevin Spacey, and then Jesse Eisenberg, but that's beside the point. The other movie that I know him most best from is actually a movie called Behind Enemy Lines, which is basically where he's an admiral on an aircraft carrier and he has to direct Owen Wilson to safety. And it was a very it was very difficult to watch that movie because at the time I didn't quite understand what was going on and what the conflict that they were portraying. But once I got older and I realized the significance of the Serbian War, it was like, yeah. And Hackman played it with such presence and such gravitas, and I can't help but love the guy for it. He's done a lot of other great movies too, and anytime you need someone to play a villain, and you need gravitas, and you need presence, and you need just a little bit of a I don't know how to describe it, but more of a they need like a tweak where they need to have him just be a little bit corny, but not enough where it becomes cringy. You call on Gene Hackman. Now, granted, I would have liked to have seen him in other films, like with Christopher Lee, for example. He could have actually played a really interesting villain in Star Wars if he had been given the opportunity. But I think there's a couple other films. I know he was in one film with Morgan Freeman, or was it Denzel Washington? I don't know, but I he was he was a great actor. He was one of those actors. Oh, I remember what it was. It was Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, because Clint Eastwood of all people gave his highest praise to Gene Hackman, and Gene Hackman plays a wonderful villain in Little Bill in the movie. And for context, basically, Little Bill is like this. He's not this corrupt sheriff, but he's kind of a almost sadistic. He's sadistic because he works on he captures Morgan Freeman's character, and then he tortures him, and then he kills him and puts him on display. And the scene where William Money, Clint Eastwood's character, goes into the tavern, or the saloon. Sorry, it's one of the last great westerns. Anyway, he goes in, and just the fact that you have Clint Eastwood just walking into a room holding a shotgun, and he just stands there and he just stares at him, and then Hackman he's playing the scene really well, and I really like that scene a lot. I like him in that movie quite a bit. He is probably one of the best characters in that movie. And the final shot where, like, Clint Eastwood is holding the shotgun to his face and he says, "See you in hell," and that was the moment that solidified Mr. Hackman as a worthy actor to be put into the Hall of Fame of great actors. So I'm still trying to process it, and it's hard because most of these actors are getting they're getting older, so we're gonna lose them. But it's important to celebrate their life rather than look and dwell on their death. And I hope that Mr. Hackman, wherever you are, I hope that you and Christopher Reeve are having the grandest time, just, dressed up in your costumes as Lex Luthor and Superman, and you're just having a conversation. I would kill to have to be there right now just to witness that. And the fact that he is he's an actor that you can't help but respect, and you can't help but be drawn to him. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there because these videos go on way too long, more than they should. But I will end it there by just saying thank you, Mr. Hackman, for making movies, making my childhood, making the movies that mattered, and they were very, very well done movies. And I hope that you rest well, and that wherever you are looking down on us with a smile on your face and a chuckle in your throat.